How's it going, guys? I'm Vivi and welcome back to some Kingdom Hearts. Yes, Kingdom Hearts 2.8 is finally out. We finally have the chance to play 0.2. Now I know that some people aren't really happy with the fact that Kingdom Hearts is pretty much spread out on multiple systems. Fortunately, for those who've never played Dream Drop Distance, they finally have the chance to try it out. But the point of the video is not to talk about Dream Drop Distance. I'm actually gonna review 0.2. And before I begin, guys, if you haven't played the game yet, yes, there will be spoilers in this video. If you don't want to hear any of this, simply click away. So with that being said, let's get right into it. So for those who've never played Birth by Sleep, 0.2 gives us a very nice brief summary in the beginning. Well, not the whole game, simply talking about Aqua. So to quickly re-summarize it for you guys, Aqua in Birth by Sleep fought Terra, who was possessed by Xehanort. A dark hole appeared eventually, Terra fell in, Aqua tried saving him, she did succeed in saving him, but they both couldn't make it, so Aqua unfortunately fell to the realm of darkness. So yeah, this was nicely summarized by Yensid in the beginning. As for the events in 0.2, they take place right after Birth by Sleep. And according to Mickey, Aqua's been stuck down there for 10 years. Now this is correct if we go with Kingdom Hearts 1. Technically, she's been stuck down there more than 10 years. So in other words, when she met Mickey in the Realm of Darkness, that was 10 years after Birth by Sleep. 10 years had passed in the Realm of Light. Time in the Realm of Light and the Realm of Darkness flow differently. As for the overall story, I was pretty satisfied. Two questions got answered actually. 1. Why Mickey left Aqua in the Realm of Darkness, and 2. The Keyblade of Darkness, also known as the Kingdom Key D. We've seen Mickey switch between his Keyblades from time to time. Well, actually, I think we only saw that in Dream Drop Distance. And a lot of us wondered, how did he find that Keyblade of Darkness? That question was answered. The biggest question, in my opinion, was why Mickey left Aqua in the Realm of Darkness. At least, that's one big question that got answered. So throughout the story in 0.2, Aqua was basically facing her inner doubts, and those inner doubts eventually turned into boss battles, Phantom Aqua. I will talk about that later on in the video. Now, some people weren't really satisfied with the 0.2, but there's only so much you can expect from a 3 to 4 hour game. Sure, they can throw in more boss battles, more characters, or stuff like that, but people would have been like, oh, what if this character, what if this boss reappears in Kingdom Hearts 3? That would have caused a lot of speculation, and I don't think that was part of Square Enix's intentions. 0.2 is simply about Aqua wandering around in the Realm of Darkness. Hey, at least 2 questions got answered. Now, as for the worlds in 0.2, we got 3. We have Castle Town, which is pretty much Cinderella's castle, the Castle of Dreams, the Forest of Thorns, which represents the Enchanted Dominion, and the World Within, which represents the Dwarf Woodlands. These are worlds from BBS, by the way. Oh, and we did have Destiny Islands, and the final boss took place at Destiny Islands. This world was very unexpected, and when Aqua mentioned Sora and Riku, I don't know, I just got hyped up for Kingdom Hearts 3. Talking about Kingdom Hearts 3, 0.2 pretty much gives us an experience of the most anticipated sequel, and I'm talking about the gameplay, which I will talk about right now. And one thing I forgot to mention, there are a bunch of flashbacks in 0.2, and just shows how the game changed, visual-wise. 2 more things before I move on to gameplay. Kingdom Hearts 0.2 leads to Kingdom Hearts 3, and the ending ties pretty well with the ending of Kingdom Hearts 1. And what I mean by this is Mickey and Sora sealing the door to darkness. Not saying that Sora was shown. And we did have shirtless Mickey, but there's something I found very funny. The way Mickey lost his shirt. I think Square Enix couldn't come up with an idea, so they decided to make his outfit magically disappear. Yes, he did get hit by the swarm of Heartless, but it's still funny. Now actually, I think Nomura also found the idea a bit funny. His original idea was to get Mickey severely injured, according to a recent interview. But since it's King Mickey Disney we're talking about, they left it as it is. So this is pretty much it for the story part. Now let's move on to the gameplay. Overall, again, I was pretty happy with the gameplay. Not saying that it's perfect. Like I said before, the gameplay really gives us a feel of Kingdom Hearts 3, the mechanics and all. And a lot of people describe 0.2 as a demo. For those of you who don't know, 0.2 was originally supposed to be planned for Kingdom Hearts 3 to take part in the beginning. But since the volume of content in Kingdom Hearts 3 is already high, the team decided to make a standalone game. Now, as for feedback, is the team looking for that since, you know, we're talking about a demo? Actually, it seems like the team is listening to the fans, and I will get to that very shortly. As for similarities, the command menu of Kingdom Hearts 1 and Kingdom Hearts 2 got implemented. We have shot locks from BBS, well, actually one, and one command style. style known as the Spell Weaver. Now, what I liked about 0.2 in terms of new mechanics are the brand new situation commands. And for those of you who don't know, these will be implemented in Kingdom Hearts 3, according to the recent interview with Tetsuya Nomura. These brand new commands are very useful when it comes to bosses. They actually activate pretty easily, and what I really like about them is that you have 20 seconds to activate them. It gives the player a lot of freedom, a lot of choices. It actually gives you the chance to use it on a specific enemy. To activate it, you pretty much, for example, you cast Blizzaga, then you keep attacking the enemy with the Keyblade, and then Blizzaga appears. You'll have 20 seconds to activate it. In Birth by Sleep, we had command styles, and activating them was pretty much mandatory. We had no choice but to press X and activate them. I really like how they took that mechanic from Birth by Sleep and completely transformed it. And how? By simply giving the player the choice to activate it. Talking about command styles, Spellweaver in 0.2, I'm not too sure. The spinning attack felt like you were simply spinning around the whole area without knowing where you were going. It didn't even cause a lot of damage. As for the finishing move, I guess it did cause quite some damage, especially against the bosses. There's one thing I wanted to cover, guys, and it's the ability to dodge roll. In Birth by Sleep, dodging made Ventus and Aqua invincible. It was pretty much broken. People spammed dodge roll in Birth by Sleep and made the game a bit too easy. In 0.2, dodging, spamming, anything like that, no more. You have to dodge at the right times. Same goes for shot lock, no more spamming. In Birth by Sleep, it was easily filled with ethers and focus barrier. In 0.2, we have to pick up those focus orbs, which would be found in a bunch of crates. For the shot lock command, we had the Prism Rain one. As I said, you can't spam it, and what I liked about it is the cool little detail they added, the slow motion. It could give you enough time to activate it. Of course, if you were positioned at a right spot, that's what I mean. With that out of the way, let's talk about the enemies. The enemies are a lot smarter, but annoying at times. I'm talking about the Water Heartless and the Fire ones. If you don't guard, it was pretty tricky, especially on Proud and Critical. Overall, all of these enemies have improved AI. They attack this time. Like, they really attack. And the Neo Shadows could get quite annoying as well. Oh, and for those of you who've never noticed, the water enemies, we actually saw those in one of the Kingdom Hearts 3 trailers. So we pretty much have to prepare ourselves. Because those enemies are, yeah, they're a pain. But of course, there's an easy way of dealing with them. Simply cast Firaga. If Firaga appears, use it. If, let's say, you're waiting for your MP to recharge, either use an ether, run away, or use guard. But the thing is, I didn't really like wasting my ethers on Heartless. What I did is I got my timing right. I used barrier at the right times, and after I simply counterattacked. Alright, so for my first playthrough, it was on Proud. And I gotta say, guys, this was the most hardest Proud mode I've ever tried. Critical is something else. Critical, like I just said, for Proud, was the hardest. The absence of Once More, Second Chance, Leaf Bracer, and Combo Master on Critical pretty much turned the gameplay into absolute pain. Like 2 shots from the enemies and you're out. No kidding. And don't get me started with the secret boss. I attempted it at level, I think it was 58, 60? I got KO'd in 2 shots. Like, I'm still trying to beat the secret boss. The thing with Phantom Aqua 4, it's you have to learn the patterns. The more you play, the more you understand how the battle works. And what sucks about this battle is that you can't guard her red attacks. You have to dodge. And since dodge can't be spammed anymore, you have to dodge at the right times. Now, as for Phantom Aqua 1, 2, 3, they're pretty interesting battles. You just have to get the timing right, and you'll get it eventually. As for Demon Tower 1, not difficult. You have to use barrier at the right times. Wait for the ice to switch from yellow to orange. What dealt a good amount of damage during this boss fight was Spellweaver, well, the finishing command, and magic. Using Blizzaga and then activating Blizzaga was very effective. For Demon Tower number 2, more difficult, no doubt. You thought you could attack. The eyes would switch from orange to yellow, you attack, but nope. You would fall right into their trap. And of course, this one had more health. What made it a bit easier afterwards is using barrier at the right times and using magic. Of course, Spellweaver and Wayfinder were very useful. Alright, now let's talk about the final boss. Oh boy, so many mixed feelings. A lot of people absolutely hated the boss battle. Some people found it okay, and some people are afraid that this style of final boss will appear in Kingdom Hearts 3. Guys, it's the Realm of Darkness we're talking about. The Heartless originate from that place. place, so it doesn't really surprise me that the final boss was a wave of Shadow Heartless. These guys might appear as an enemy in Kingdom Hearts 3, but not as a final boss. Now gameplay wise, this boss battle, I'm not gonna say it was difficult, I'm gonna say it was more annoying. You would get blasted into the air, and then by the time you hit the ground, you would lose a lot of HP. As for dodging the attacks, well, when the wave comes right at you, you simply use barrier. That one is pretty simple, you can get the hang of it. When they're crawling into the sand and pop out of the ground, just use barrier and counterattack or simply dodge roll. Well, actually very recently I've learned that you can stay on the edges and avoid these attacks a lot more easily. Now from time to time, this wave of Heartless shoots a bunch of shadows at you. What I recommend on doing is simply running away and try to avoid them. As for phase 2 of this boss battle, you can actually skip it. When they're all chained together, you can go ahead and use Wayfinder if you want. You don't need to press finish, you can keep on spamming X and then reactivate the finish command. But if your focus gauge is full, you can use that and refill it using elixirs. And once you enter phase 2, you can use Firaga, Blizzaga, Thundaga, anything, and then you're done. But if you actually go through phase 2, what I recommend on doing is just keep dodging the tornado. When the eyes are orange, red, whatever, just keep on avoiding them. Run away, dodge roll, do whatever you can. This boss battle is pretty unpredictable. When the tornado widens and the eyes turn yellow, you're open to attack. Now for this boss, you don't have a lot of openings, and when you get blasted off into the air, just press X and air slide. Try to avoid the balls. Some people believe that this battle is luck based, and one thing I completely disliked in 0.2 is the fact that Mickey heals you the second you heal yourself. That causes you to waste MP for nothing. It's just this tiny nitpick I have. Next, as for the dark sides, they're pretty okay, I guess. They're not hard. The last one was harder, of course. You had to like walk and avoid the spike balls. Now I'm not gonna turn this video into a guide, so this is pretty much it for the bosses. I'm gonna leave it at that. Next, I did talk about feedback before. There were a lot of complaints regarding 0.2. Square Enix actually listened to the fans, so they decided to release patch 1.02. They apparently fixed Aquashin and Vanita Sven, that whole mix-up with the mask and the eyes. I knew that was a mistake from the beginning. I knew it. So here's what was fixed, adjusted. Improved playability regarding player input, adjusted MP consumption, adjusted camera speed, adjusted command menu, decreased player damage taken from enemies in proud mode, increased player damage dealt to enemies in critical mode, adjusted enemy AI and parameters. For the MP one, this is what they added. It's just like Kingdom Hearts 2. When you have the chance to use a magic command once more, it turns orange. It pretty much tells you how many you can use. If it's orange, you can use it once, and then you have to wait for the MP to recharge. Now Firaga, it used to consume 10 MP, now it's down to 8. Thundaga and Blizzaga, same thing. We went from 15 to 12. As for the camera speed, it really didn't bother me, no complaints. As for the increased player damage dealt, in Kingdom Hearts 2 Final Mix, we had 25% more damage. Even if they added more damage in patch 1.02, critical in 0.2 is still tricky. It's not easy. As for the adjusted AI, well, I think you have a better opening this time, and especially when it comes to the final boss. When the wave of Heartless shoots a bunch of shadows at you, it seems like you can actually avoid the attack more easily this time. Like, you know when to attack. But overall, their attacks, they're pretty unpredictable. Now, one thing I've realized is there's faster reaction time, especially when it comes to using your barrier. For example, you jump into the air and you can quickly activate it this time, which is very effective and made the whole gameplay experience a lot better. Another thing I'd like to point out about the final boss, it no longer has 12 bars, it's down to 10. After patch 1.02. So guys, overall, gameplay, I was pretty happy. Some still find it floaty and dislike it. They call it the Osaka float. Like when you're attacking enemies in the air, you like remain in the air the whole time. I didn't complain too much about that. And one of the attacks I really liked is the aerial sweep. You quickly spin in the air and attack enemies on the ground. But I do have some little nitpicks. Sometimes it felt like the commands didn't want to activate. I was sitting there and smashing triangle. By the time it activated, I was already dead. And sometimes these situation commands leave you open to enemy attacks. So you have to be careful with that, especially when you're playing on critical, no joke. And finally, as for gameplay value or anything like that, we do have objectives. Yes, the game is 3 hours to 4 hours long, but the objectives, they do add a lot of gameplay time. As for difficulty, they're doable, except for 2, which are trickier. It requires you to beat 2 boss battles without taking any damage. But guys, I'm gonna leave it at that for gameplay. Now let's move on to graphics and technical stuff. The visuals, guys, they look very stunning. It's the first time we get to experience a Kingdom Hearts game on the Unreal Engine 4. It looks absolutely gorgeous. And 0.2 does show that Square Enix is putting in a lot of effort. And why? Simply compare 0.2 from E3 with what we have right now. A lot of people got worried about the lighting, the characters look like plastic, clay, or whatever, but it seems like they're getting the hang of this, and I'm sure that Kingdom Hearts 3 will look absolutely gorgeous. Now, I really do like the cool magic effects they added. For example, when you're using Blizzaga, the Keyblade, the tip, glows blue. As for Firaga, it glows orange. And the magic, the visual effects, it looks absolutely nice. The huge crystal formed by Blizzaga, the fire explosion, Zendaga affecting the whole environment surrounding you, it's pretty cool. As for frame rate drops, I haven't experienced any. Maybe a few here and there, but nothing too bad. The game runs at 30 FPS on a regular PS4. It runs at an unlocked 60 FPS on PS4 Pro. And I've seen gameplays on YouTube at 60 FPS. It looks smooth, it looks very nice. As for load times, they're pretty okay. Yes, it does take longer when you start the game, but transporting from one area to the other, it's okay. Now for the soundtrack, guys, it's Yoko Shimomura we're talking about. This woman never fails. Every time I hear her music, I just get hyped. And I'm gonna say this, she's my favorite composer. The amount of emotion, the amount of epicness put into these soundtracks, it's awesome. And one thing I've realized when I've listened to these soundtracks, there's a lot of Final Fantasy 15 vibe. Some people found it a bit unexpected, but I really like it. It just shows how much she's learned from Final Fantasy 15. And this pretty much gets me hyped up for the music in Kingdom Hearts 3. Imagine what it's gonna sound like. Okay, sure, 0.2 didn't have that many new soundtracks, but it's a demo we're talking about. A short game. And the music they used, yes, they did use some music we've heard before, but at least they fit. So yeah, other than that, guys, this is pretty much it for the review. Final verdict. The story was pretty enjoyable, it answered 2 questions, the gameplay was pretty great overall. Graphics, load times, okay, no complaints. Music, epic as usual. As for the bosses, anything like that, okay, some people were expecting something else, but 0.2 just showed how the Heartless can be threatening. And that's what I liked about 0.2. Sure, the final boss was annoying, but just shows how much more powerful they will be in Kingdom Hearts 3. Oh, there's one last thing I forgot to mention, guys. I like how there's actual dialogue during gameplay. It adds a lot more life to the game. And I'm sure we should expect something similar in Kingdom Hearts 3. Now, for the final score, I was actually debating between 7 and 8, but I'm gonna go with 8 on 10. So guys, if you watched the whole thing, you're awesome. Now, if you have any thoughts or anything like that, leave everything in the comments section below. And as always, I've been Vivi, and thanks for watching.